expected Saturday night.
A killer storm with high wind, hail, and flooding hits northern Texas. And a victory pageant in Britain begins the 50th anniversary of VE Day. This is the CBS Evening News. And this is Bob Schieffer reporting. Good evening. Texas is no stranger to spring storms, but one of the worst ever blew through Fort Worth and Dallas last night, taking at least 13 lives and leaving 4 people missing. In Fort Worth, hail, some of it as big as grapefruit, pelted people at an outdoor Mayfest celebration, and more than 100 people were injured there alone. In Dallas, some cars were swept away by raging floodwater. Troy Roberts has our report.
Floodwaters receded in North Texas this morning to reveal extensive damage. Crumpled buildings, buckled and broken highways, vehicles swept away by high water, scattered about at their final resting place. The skies above Texas opened up last night to unleash a furious combination of driving rain, lightning, and softball-sized hail. The heavy balls of ice shattered car windows and pounded on roofs already weighed down by nearly 3.5 inches of water. A 100 by 250-foot section of roof at this clothing warehouse collapsed, killing 2 workers.
And all of a sudden I look up, and the middle of the ceiling just came falling down, and we all hit the floor.
A roof collapse in North Dallas touched off a 4-alarm fire, and another storm-related blaze gutted an apartment complex. The rising floodwaters quickly swallowed up roads and highways, trapping dozens of motorists who were forced to wait out the storm until help arrived. In a freak accident, a Good Samaritan who rescued a little girl from a stalled vehicle was swept away into a narrow storm drain that leads into the Trinity River. 5 other storm victims also drowned while trying to escape flooded vehicles, and officials fear several others may have suffered the same fate. Winds topping 70 miles per hour added to the misery. More than 100 people were hurt by flying glass and debris.
I've been active in emergency medical services in Fort Worth since 1976. I've never seen this many weather-related injuries.
The injured being treated at Baylor University's medical center had to be evacuated as rising floodwaters poured into the emergency room.
The water started rushing in the glass doors, and the pressure was building up, so we knew they were going to bust, so we had to get everybody upstairs before the elevators went out.
Total damages are estimated at more than $500 million, but that figure will likely jump tonight as more wicked weather is forecast to return to much of Texas. Troy Roberts, CBS News, New York.
The Dallas Morning News reports that charges of complicity in the Oklahoma City bombing may be filed soon against Terry Nichols, one of the brothers being held as a material witness in the case. So far, there is only conjecture about the reasons why, but Nichols is a longtime friend of Timothy McVeigh, the only person currently charged. In Oklahoma City today, it was another time for remembering, and we have more on that now from Vicki Mabry.
The silence is so still, it's nearly overwhelming. Family and friends of the 167 victims who died here paid their respects at the site today. Most had not been so close since that first awful day. On their faces, sorrow, confusion, incomprehension. They seek answers to the lingering questions. Why did it happen here? Why did it happen to someone they love? At churches today, the mourning continues. In New Orleans, a military funeral for a young Air Force woman. In Oklahoma City, a funeral for 3 members of one family, a grandmother and 2 small children. As the families come to terms and start trying to rebuild their lives, tokens of support continue pouring in from a variety of cities and sources. Police from all across Michigan caravan to Oklahoma to present money and condolences.
Somewhere in heaven, wings are taking flight.
And tonight, rocker Graham Nash comes to Oklahoma City for a benefit concert with a new song dedicated to the victims.
Send me out your angels, and I'll send you home. flying. Hope they got there in time.
At the site today, family members were given roses and a grim souvenir, a piece of debris. They received condolences, hugs, and perhaps a small measure of comfort. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Oklahoma City.
And still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, ceremonies marking the 50th anniversary of VE Day get underway in Europe, while Kansas City honors the American fighting men who rode the troop trains to victory.
A sparkling ship on crystal waters is coming.
Absolutely gorgeous. It was so much fun.
The perfect lobster is coming.
Our readers, they would do anything for us, any time.
Perfection is coming.
It's like a gift from the captain.
Memories are coming. 7 days in Royal Caribbean's Mexican Riviera are coming. You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
Where is it written that yard care has to be so complicated it takes all day? Now there's an easy way out of yard work. It's new Yard Basics. Just point and spray for great results. For the weeds, for the lawn, for the bugs. New Yard Basics from Ortho. The easy way out of yard work.
Frank, are you still out there?
It's easy to get lost in New Orleans. It's fun to get lost in Easy Spirit shoes. Introducing Summer Walkers, built with every bit of our walking shoe cushioning and support, redressed for summer. In Easy Spirit, you won't mind being off the beaten path. You'll prefer it. Easy Spirit's new Summer Walkers. Inside's our walking shoe. Outside's the whole world.
The war against Japan would go on a few more months, but Monday marks the 50th anniversary of VE Day, the day World War II ended in Europe. CBS News correspondents will be covering the commemorations throughout Europe. Today in England, VE Day observances and festivities are already in full swing, and Cindy Kennard has our report.
It's a huge victory party where old enemies are now welcomed as friends. Representatives from 54 nations gathered together with the same fervor as 50 years ago when the Allies conquered the Nazi powers.
We in Britain remember especially the heroism of all those who fought against the tyrannies in Europe.
But this weekend is not just about providing a stage for world leaders. England and parts of Europe are exploding in a 3-day celebration. First-class honors for those who fought and those who died. London's sun-drenched Hyde Park hosted 150,000 people, including the Queen Mother, who reigned during World War II. Back then, she was known as England's morale booster. Today, she hailed the soldiers.
God bless them all.
Everything was designed to reenact yesterday. The sounds, the sights, souvenirs,
cheapest flags in London,
and of course, the sentiment.
Victory, isn't it? Victory, definitely victory.
Freedom.
We've got to have freedom, haven't we? Freedom for the world.
People even dressed up as their heroes as a way to remember.
It's a day that must be celebrated, and I'm pleased to see there are many here.
Including American veterans with a chest full of medals.
So what do you think? This is fantastic.
A shelter used by thousands during the Blitz became a dance floor for the young who just wanted to feel what it was like.
So it's a day to feel very British today, but we're celebrating with an American dance.
Outside of Paris and Reims, the French marked the anniversary at what General Eisenhower called the Little Red Brick Schoolhouse, the place where the Germans surrendered.
The French are here to say thanks, Yanks.
And so is Dame Vera Lynn, the sweetheart of the forces, starring in what is likely to be the last thank you celebration for the aging veterans who fought 50 years ago. Cindy Kennard, CBS News, London.
The Americans who returned to England for the anniversary were drawn to a cemetery in a nearby hamlet outside Cambridge. They remembered their comrades who died and did not survive, and they marveled that they did. Mark Phillips now with that story.
At the American Military Cemetery in Mattingly, England, where those who died in the air war are buried and remembered, homage was paid today.
Let us remember that the men and women who lie in this quiet place and in all the other places where their comrades also lie died for a future of hope for the best that might be.
This anniversary is a time of state remembrance and a time of nostalgia for those who were there. A flyover of wartime American and British planes ended the event, harking back to the valor, the glory, and the terror of those times. Somewhere else, today's politicians may be officiating at grand ceremonies commemorating VE Day, but here, for some of those who fought, it's a time for a more personal, more intimate remembrance. The school children of a little hamlet called Steeple Morden, about 10 miles from the American cemetery, sang a welcome for the veterans of the 355th U.S. Army Air Force Fighter Group, which had been based here in the war. The vets told stories of what seeing the village church steeple had meant to them when returning from a mission.
We circled that church and rolled out at the end, and there was the airfield in front of us, and we knew we were back home. And that church brings a tear to my eye, and we love you all.
John Brooks, a 26-year-old lieutenant colonel then, was back in the air over Steeple Morden today, courtesy of a local pilot, back over the steeple that had meant so much. And back in the local pubs with his wartime buddies, where they reminisced about the dangers and excitement of those simpler, heroic times.
Probably the most exciting time of my life, in that everything I was doing I thought was worthwhile. Everything.
Bill Tiger Lyons, who now calls himself Pussycat, spoke at today's small ceremony for the 355th, held back on the airfield from which they flew. At the big ceremonies and the small today, they spoke of the shared memories, the shared purpose, the shared values, and the sacrifice that had brought victory and peace. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Steeple Morden, England.
It's best right after they shave.
They smell so good.
And their skin is so soft and smooth. I love that.
Alpha Hydrox Aftershave Lotion conditions, hydrates, and exfoliates your skin with natural fruit acids that can leave your skin looking healthier, smoother, younger.
Do men get better looking when they get older? Some men do.
Alpha Hydrox Aftershave Lotion at drug, grocery, and discount stores.
Hey, where is everybody? They've gone for the Qualidays. Buick Qualidays. For a little while, Buick Quality is on sale. Save on Sporty Regal and on the American family car, LeSabre. Factory to dealer incentives continue on Reliable Century. Where is everybody? Celebrating Buick Quality during Buick Qualidays. Better hurry.
Now the power to move without pain is in the palm of your hand. The power of Extra Strength Bear. The power to take off and fly. To rock and roll and reach, free from body pain and stiffness. The power of Extra Strength Bear. Enough power to even relieve the pain of inflammation and stiffness of arthritis. It's that strong. The power to keep on moving. That's the power of Extra Strength Bear.
I'm Charles Osgood. The Art of Survival. See some remarkable creations done by American POWs during World War II. We'll be in London this Sunday morning.
The people of Pilsen in what is now the Czech Republic marked their Liberation Day today. They reenacted events of 50 years ago when partisans and U.S. soldiers defeated the Germans occupying the beer brewing capital. The Americans soon pulled out to let Soviet troops take over. Combat veterans of the war have many stories to tell, and some of the most fascinating are the ones that are told by an American who was a hero in the Soviet Red Army. Jonathan Sanders now with that story.
Russia's honoring its World War II veterans. Like Sergei and Anna Nikolaevna, a married couple who served together at the front. Among those getting gifts and a little glory is a unique veteran, Nick Burlak, born in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. He's one of the few Americans who fought in the Red Army.
I wanted my homeland to be free of fascism.
Nick stayed here after the war, but never surrendered his U.S. citizenship.
Nick Burlak's saga began long before the Second World War, when his father brought the family here from New York. Nick's father was a committed socialist who came here to help build communism.
Nick's American heritage nearly kept him out of the war.
I was writing letters to Comrade Stalin. I was explaining to him that I'm a sharpshooter.
Wounded 4 times, Nick Burlak fought his way across Europe with the Soviet Army.
I took part in the next battle in Bobruisk, that's Belarus. After that was Brest,
and after
Belarus.
That?
And after that was Warsaw.
And after that?
The concentration camp where we liberated the American pilots and the British pilots.
When the Soviets stormed Berlin, ending the war, Nick was there, scrawling graffiti on the burned-out Reichstag with his comrades. But this Red Army man wrote in English.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Moscow, USSR, Berlin, Germany, May 2nd, 1945, Nicholas.
50 years later, and 15 miles from the Kremlin, Nick Burlak, American citizen, Russian war veteran, is a local hero. Jonathan Sanders, CBS News, Moscow.
The liberation of Holland 50 years ago was celebrated in the night skies over The Hague, accompanied by Beethoven's Fifth, a spectacular laser show beamed warplanes and other images overhead, including the V for Victory, the victory sign that Winston Churchill made famous.
It is a rip-roaring 2-liter, 140-horsepower engine. It's as fast through the slalom as a Ferrari. It has room for 4 and a big honking trunk. Introducing the new Nissan 200 SX, a sports car of heroic proportions.
Ma, you've got to get some sleep. Did you get the Unisom I told you? Unisom, the gel ones. It's over the counter. No, it's not habit forming. I spoke to the doctor already. Ma, am I going to tell you to take something that isn't safe? All right. I love you too.
To her, it could only be a fantasy. The stuff dreams are made of. So easy, so effortless.
So tasty. I can't believe.
I can't believe it's not butter. It's bread. Introducing an easy new way to enjoy fresh butter taste without any fat or calories. New I Can't Believe It's Not Butter Spray. It's not just a dream any longer.
He says fantasies don't come true.
VE Day. Walter Cronkite covered it. Bob Dole fought for it. Doris Kearns Goodwin writes about it. Pamela Harriman lived through it. Their stories on Face the Nation Sunday.
The United States and Japan appear to be on an economic collision course again following the breakdown last night of talks aimed at expanding the sale of U.S. automobiles and parts in Japan. U.S. Trade Representative Mickey Cantor says the administration will soon announce new measures aimed at opening the Japanese market. Japanese police are investigating another apparent terrorist attack. 2 bags of chemicals were found on fire in a busy Tokyo train station. One bag contained sodium cyanide. The flames were put out before the fumes could combine to form a gas that experts say could have killed thousands. In the latest twist in the Balkan conflict, Bosnian government troops have now joined Croatian forces to fight a common enemy, the Serbs. The new fighting has put thousands of refugees along the Bosnian-Croatian border in a precarious situation, and Alan Pizzi has a report.
Croatian troops were today spraying chlorine along a road leading to the border with Bosnia. A Croatian officer said it was to prevent infection. Certainly the smell of death hung heavy. The Ministry of Defense said cattle died here. Croatian Serb refugees told the UN they were shot at and shelled as they fled along this route. Meanwhile, the Croats began releasing some of the nearly 1,000 Serb men they took prisoner. But the military is making sure they keep track of everyone in the territory they have just retaken. An estimated 6,000 Croatian Serb civilians are still in the area. Today they registered with Red Cross authorities and got their first UN food supplies. The question now is what will happen to them.
They're very, very frightened, and any choice they would make now would be irreversible probably, and might be an emotional choice.
The UN will try to protect the Serbs if they decide to leave, but Croats are running the show, according to a UN official.
We'll be to have it cleared.
The best the UN can do is set up checkpoints along the route to Serb-controlled areas of Bosnia.
So that we can check to make sure that everyone that is in motion from the start actually ends up at the end.
The end is here, a bridge blocked by landmines over the Sava River. Thousands of Croatian Serb refugees fled across this bridge into Bosnia. Now that this crossing point is in Croatian government control, there seems little chance they'll ever be able to come back again. The Croats have even stopped UN humanitarian relief from reaching them. And so, once again, the innocent wait, fearful and helpless, while warring armies decide their future. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, on the Croatia-Bosnia border.
The U.S. Coast Guard is ferrying 13 Cuban refugees back to their homeland tonight. It's the first of the refugees to be returned under the Clinton administration's new policy. The refugees were picked up Wednesday evening by a Caribbean cruise ship and transferred to a Coast Guard cutter last night. Demonstrators opposed to the Republican contract with America marched in New York and other cities across the country today. About 5,000 people paraded through the streets of Midtown Manhattan in support of federal programs targeted by the GOP.
You know what I hate? Pain. That's why I love Aspirin. When I get minor muscle aches, I just rub it in for fast relief that lasts for hours. And it's odor-free. Why live with pain? You're going to love it. Aspirin does not contain aspirin.
Weeds keep coming back? Then kill the roots with Roundup. No root, no weed, no problem. Roundup.
Don't you wish we could just do this to air pollution? In a way we can. If homes and industries, power plants and vehicles would just switch to natural gas. Clean, economical, natural gas. Think what we'll save.
A sparkling ship on crystal waters is coming.
Absolutely gorgeous. It was so much fun.
A perfect lobster is coming.
Our readers, they would do anything for us, any time.
Perfection is coming.
It's like a gift from the captain.
Memories are coming. 7 days in Royal Caribbean's Caribbean are coming. You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
When the King and Winston Churchill appeared on the balcony of Buckingham Palace 50 years ago, it signaled the end of World War II in Europe. VE Day at last. 50 years later, it's time for allies, European and American, to celebrate. Join Dan Rather in London for a special series of reports on VE Day. 50 years later, Monday on the CBS Evening News.
Well, today's 121st running of the Kentucky Derby looked like a stampede. The only filly in the field of 19, Serena Song, led most of the way. But at the finish, long shot Thunder Gulch was first, Tejano Run was second, and Timber Country third. Track announcer Dave Johnson has the call.
Serena's song, desperate to hang on between horses. Talking Man on the inside, but Thunder Gulch emerges with the lead, and Thunder Gulch with Gary Stevens takes command. Talking Man along the inside, and now here comes Tejano Run, and in the middle of the racetrack, it's Eltish along with Jum Run, and down the stretch they come in the Derby, and here's the winner. It's Thunder Gulch. Lucas wins it with the lesser of the three horses.
The winner was one of 3 horses entered in the Derby by trainer Wayne Lucas. And finally tonight, Kansas City, Missouri is to be the site of a memorial service tomorrow to mark the 50th anniversary of the Allied victory in Europe. The city played a key role in the victory by serving as a major transfer point for soldiers being sent to the front lines. Diana Olick has our report.
The troop train rolled into Kansas City one more time today, just as it did hundreds of times a day in the days of World War II. But this time it didn't send Americans off to war, it brought them back.
Ciao.
Francis Medina is traveling back to August 28, 1944, when as a 20-year-old tail gunner he was shot down behind enemy lines in northern Italy.
The waist gunner said, "We've been hit. We're on fire."
Medina says he first saw his enemy through the thick of a cornfield.
Man was as close as you are to me right now. And he had his gun out there, just ready, finger on trigger and everything. I just looked up that barrel and just kept praying, and he didn't see me.
More than half the American soldiers who were shipped out traveled through Kansas City, and donut girls like Marguerite Batcher were there to greet them.
It makes you feel proud to be American and think what all the boys did, what they gave.
For many Americans, there wasn't just one trip to the war. There were trips every day, bombing runs over enemies and countries they would never see. And most don't remember the places as much as they do the planes.
Yeah, you had to be in love with your airplane. It was close to you. You were close to it.
Hal Weekly is taking this B-17 bomber on a few more trips this weekend over the blue skies of Kansas City instead of Europe, where he flew 20 missions and was shot down in 1944.
I wanted to fly in the war because this was a war that needed to be won, and everybody was very patriotic, and everybody wanted to get in and do their part. I enjoyed every time. Great. Can't beat an airplane like this.
They talk of the planes and the trains because, as one veteran said simply, there are no words to describe a war, and the journey back is a private one.
It was so different here. Everybody's happy now.
Diana Olick, CBS News, Kansas City, Missouri.
And that's the news. CBS News VE Day coverage resumes tomorrow with a special broadcast of Sunday Morning with Charles Osgood in London. Then on Face the Nation, we'll talk with Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole, U.S. Ambassador to France Pamela Harriman, then also news correspondent Walter Cronkite and historian Doris Kearns-Goodwin. Dan Rather heads up our coverage on tomorrow's CBS Evening News, and he'll anchor CBS News live coverage of the official American ceremonies beginning Monday at 11 Eastern Time. I'm Bob Schieffer. Good night.
Experience CBS News.
Let's go to the show. Buddy McGirt goes toe-to-toe against Lightning Joe Gaddy in a junior middleweight bout. Sunday on the CBS Sports Show.
This is CBS.